Hi, welcome to Karen K Reviews. Today I am reviewing Abbott Elementary Season 2, Episode 9, Sick Day. This episode's opening scene takes place in the teacher's lounge when Ava has taken all of the food out of the refrigerator to store the eye mask that she is scamming with. She has also used all of the printer paper to make flyers. She claims her job is really hard and in typical Ava fashion is completely disconnected from what it's like for the teachers. Our first conflict is introduced when Janine calls Ava to tell her that she has food poisoning from the tuna melt that was left out in the fridge too long. As soon as she started eating it, I said, oh, that's why they called the episode Sick Day. Janine has never missed a day of work. Her being in denial about being really sick reminded me of how I was last school year when my whole family ended up getting a stomach bug. It was awful. I did not want to accept that I was sick since I had used most of my sick days due to vid quarantining. Since there is a shortage of subs, which is very, very much like real life, Ava has to sub for Janine, which starts out as a disaster. Ava is not doing any of the instructions that Janine left, which unfortunately happens in the real world a lot. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I come back and the plans have been followed. A lot of times, I just chalk that day up as an L. Ava then decides that she doesn't feel like subbing and gets Mr. Johnson to fill in for her. Greg, who, as we know, should have been the principal, is the one that gets Ava to see the bigger picture here. Teachers plan and try to keep the kids on track with the standards and curriculum. As a sub, she should do her best to keep the kids on track because, as Greg says, every day for them does matter. Ava realizes that she does need to stick to the routine and starts out with story time. I'm curious about how Ava got into education. I've never seen a principal not have to teach at some point to eventually get a principal position. But I feel like if teaching was something that Ava was interested in, she would actually be a fun and good teacher. Barbara and Melissa are enjoying the quiet of Janine being out and start forming a friendship with Tasha, a teacher who comes into the lounge and explains that she stopped sitting in the lounge because Janine talks too much for her. Jacob doesn't like that they keep complaining about Janine or that Barbara and Melissa have invited Tasha to lunch when they never invite Janine. Barbara, Melissa, and Tasha come into the break room to sneak in a coffee break, but ants are overtaking the fridge. Unlike Janine, Tasha just says, well, I'm out. Jacob has an I told you so look and tells Barbara and Melissa to admit that they miss Janine. When Ava needs to use the copy machine and realizes that all the paper is gone because she used it, she understands how the teachers feel and realizes that teaching is not easy. She orders copy paper as an apology of sorts. When Janine returns, Barbara tells her that they missed her infectious energy. Sometimes people don't realize how good something or someone is until they are gone. Tasha wasn't a chatterbox or overly positive, but she wasn't willing to be there and help when needed the way that Janine is. Here are a few stray observations. Jacob saying his Zimbabwe tapeworm story shows his white savior complex yet again. Next time Janine needs to remember, when in doubt, throw it out. I love how Greg is still shocked at people's lack of general knowledge, such as Ava not knowing that putting food in the sun is bad and Mr. Johnson's conspiracy talks. Ava harasses Greg so much at work. When she said, my eyes are up here, Mr. Eddie. I thought it was odd also that Janine didn't text Greg to tell him that she was going to be out because most teachers usually text their principal and their teammates or neighbor teachers. I also like that we got another teacher introduction this episode, Tasha. I like that the kid actors and actresses are always with the same teacher, so we never see one of Janine's kids in Greg's classes or vice versa. I love Jacob's drop draw when Melissa and Barbara invite Tasha to lunch. I'm also starting to think that Jacob is actually a good judge of intent. He peeped that Mr. Morton was passive-aggressive when nobody else did, and he saw right through Tasha. I feel like Janine's "if you're watching this is too late" message could be scary to the kids. Janine was out of there after she took their medicine. When she said, I'm pretty sure Space Jam was based on a true story and they just don't want you to know, that was hilarious in the quote of the episode. Again, it's hinted at that Greg will one day become a principal through his pep talk to Ava. I could see them maybe making him an assistant principal at Abbott if they wanted to keep Ava's character. I love Greg's vocabulary this episode. I'm moored. As an English teacher, I approve. It was sweet that Greg thought to get Janine electrolyte water on her day back. Overall, I give this episode an A+. I love how it touched on a true issue, the sub shortage, and how the plot forced Ava to appreciate the role of the teachers and Barbara and Melissa to appreciate Janine. What are your opinions on this episode? Comment down below. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching.